Don't just live for tomorrow, or just live in yesterday. Just be glad for all you have that's in today. And though you've come through many obstacles.
Hey everyone, Connie here, and welcome to my first impressions reaction to Cobra Kai, episode 1. So, this is something I've wanted to check out for quite a while and just never got around to. And so I thought, let's do a first impressions reaction. See what we think of the episode, especially in the format of a reaction. And maybe we'll get to it at some point in the future. Maybe I'll end up watching it on my own time. I don't know. We'll see. But for those who don't know, Cobra Kai is a Netflix series and is a sequel to the Karate Kid films. I am a big fan of the Karate Kid movies. The first one, especially, is definitely the best. But the whole original set of them, even the one with Hilary Swank, was really good. The only one I don't like is the remake, which didn't focus on karate at all, but rather kung fu, and was just not really that good. Even with Jackie Chan in it, it just really wasn't that good. It just wasn't well written, not well directed, and I felt like all the actors in it, even the really good ones, like Jackie Chan, were wasted. It just didn't have the same emotional beat to it at all, and just wasn't as just generally well done. So, what do I know about this series? Besides just being, a sequel, a follow-up to The Karate Kid. Obviously, I know that it centers around the Cobra Kai dojo, who were the enemies in The Karate Kid. I believe that the main character is actually the kid that Daniel-san beat at the end of the first movie. The end of the first movie, if I remember right. And I think he was in the third movie too, actually. I'm not entirely sure. It's been a while since I've seen the second and third movies. But I think he's the main character in this. I know Ralph Macchio is in this. I know that for 100% fact. And I think there's other characters who return from the original movies as well. I don't know exactly who. I don't know how many of them. But that is pretty cool. I know this is a really popular series, and I'm just really interested to see how it goes. I don't know anything about the actual story of it. Like, I don't know what the actual, plot of the series is. I don't know, any new characters that are in it or any goals of any of the characters. I don't know any of that. I just haven't seen much of any spoilers. I've heard people talk about the series and talk about enjoying it, but I just haven't heard any spoilers at all, which is good. It's how I prefer it. But I am definitely interested to find out, to see what this series has in store, and hopefully, it's really good. I don't know if anyone worked on this who was part of any of the Karate Kid films. I just don't know. I don't know any of the production stuff behind it. All I know is basically what I've said. So we will have to see. So let's do so. We're just gonna get this going, and like I said, in the afterthoughts, I'll let you know whether I think that this would be a good series to react to, and if so, I'll put it on my list. If it's something I'd rather watch on my own time, I'll say so, and if it's something I just don't seem to like, I'll say that as well. It'll obviously be one of those three, most likely. So we'll handle that as we get to it. But in the meantime, let's just get this going. So when the screen fades to black, pause this redirect and go to the description below. Follow the link to the reaction, and after you watch it, come back here to the redirect and resume play. Because after it fades to black and then fades back in, everything from that point forward will be my afterthoughts and will contain spoilers to the episode. So, that being said, thank you so much for tuning in, and I will see you at the reaction. And we are back, and we'll begin with spoilers in 3, 2, 1, now. So, going into this, I didn't know what to think, because Karate Kid was a long time ago. It was in the 80s. Really good movie at the time. And my biggest issue, how are they going to live up to that? The movie is huge. It's hugely popular still to this day. Still holds up. Still really well holds up as a film. And after the reboot with Jackie Chan and Jaden Smith that was just not good, my biggest concern, how is this going to go? How good can this be? Is it going to live up to the Karate Kid, to that name, to the legacy that it holds? And as I started to watch this, I was still wondering that. With Johnny as our main character now, kind of flipping the script and seeing how far he's fallen, how kind of this just shitty, down on his luck person he's become, it's like, what are you going to do? Like, how are they going to make this really exciting? How are they going to make this feel like the Karate Kid? All these thoughts going through my head, and thankfully, by the end of this episode, which did sneak up on me, I really thought these were going to be hour-long episodes because I'm so used to that now with a lot of shows. Luckily, by the end of this episode, this is the Karate Kid. This is a follow-up. I have no doubt in my mind that this feels like a faithful, believable follow-up to the Karate Kid. And I can see the hype. I'm not necessarily fully there yet because it's only the first episode. There's still a lot more to see and everything, but I can see the hype. I can see why people are excited and why people really like this series. So the basic gist of this first episode, Johnny, his life has just gone to shit since his loss to Daniel in the tournament at the end of the first movie. He grew up to kind of become this guy just hopping around from odd job to odd job, doing just a bunch of random shit here and there. And he lives in a shit place, he has a shit car, just everything about his life is shit. But as we can see, he, because of this as well, he's kind of become very rude and mean and just not the best person either. It's definitely salted his entire personality even further. He's no longer necessarily a bully, and we even see him stand up for this kid who's being bullied, who I don't remember what the kid's name was. He did mention it, but I don't remember what it was. But he even stands up. He even stands up for him. But we see that he has definitely gained some really unfortunate tendencies and some really unfortunate ideals. Like there's definitely a hint of racism there. And he very much seems like he's got a journey to take in this series where he's got to become a better person. And I think that this kid is going to help him with that. Training this kid is going to help him become better. But we see that it's not just all this shit that's wrong in his life, it's also the fact that everywhere he looks, he keeps seeing advertisements for Daniel LaRusso's car dealership. Daniel, of course, the main character of the Karate Kid movies and all, the main ones, all of that, Daniel-san, and the one who, in his eyes, ruined his life. So every time Johnny sees these advertisements, it kind of sets him off. It's a trigger for him, and he gets angry by it, he gets upset by it, and it just reminds him of his failures. But as was made very clear from his flashbacks and all, the true person he should be upset at is his sensei from back then. He was the one who was abusing him and making him feel like shit and all. Daniel didn't really do much of anything wrong. Like it was even pointed out, like he told Daniel in this episode, like, you stole my girl from me, and Daniel's like, well, she wasn't really your girl anymore. And that's true. She had kind of already left him by the time Daniel swooped in. So it's like he's he kind of viewed her, Johnny that is, he kind of viewed her as almost like his property back then. And it was a very unfortunate view to have on anyone, and unfortunately a view that a lot of men have had towards women throughout history. And it seems like he still has some soreness about that. But yeah, so we see him kind of struggling with all this, where eventually he drives off drinking and all, and ends up reaching the sporting center where that fateful match happened all those years ago. He parks in front of the gates, gets out, and just looks at the building, remembering everything that happened, when suddenly a car crashes into the back of his. This vehicle being driven by, it looked like 4 young girls, 4 teenage girls. And apparently the driver was not paying attention. She was focused on her phone, which is like, yeah, that's very much a cause of accidents. But they end up driving off, acting like nothing ever happened, but his car is fucked and ends up being towed to LaRusso's. While there, he tries to get in and out as quickly as possible, tries to get his car transferred, but he does end up coming across Daniel, exactly what he didn't want. They have their conversation, and he ends up seeing Daniel with his daughter, who Johnny realizes one of the girls in the car, which makes him angrier, but also almost motivated to get revenge in a way, it seemed. And that's what motivated him to start training this kid who just moved into his apartments. I don't know what his main goal is going to be here. Like, does he think that training this kid in Cobra Kai style karate is going to help get back at Daniel somehow? I don't know. But he clearly is viewing it as like, oh, one of the girls who crashed into my car was Daniel's daughter. It's like everything bad happening to me is all about him. It's all his fault. And it's like, so, and then his response is like, I'm going to go train this kid now. So I don't know exactly what his plan with that is yet. We'll have to see. And I really like the line, though, I'm going to be your sensei. Like, I, not only just because I called it right before he said it, just because of it was obvious based on the line of dialogue that was going on and me knowing about Karate Kid and that kind of stuff. So it's like, yeah, of course he's going to say that. but just the delivery of it and the meaning behind it within this franchise is what made it really cool. Um, it was just a really hype line. It was. So I'm excited to see where this goes. And yes, let's just confirm this right here. I will be reacting to this. I don't know when it's going to be put on my list. Um, but these first impressions were extremely good. I thought that this first episode really got me excited for this, really impressed me, and really felt like it felt like again a worthy successor to the Karate Kid. It felt like a valid follow up, and so I really want to see where it goes. I want to see how Johnny's character arc develops. I want to see what more Daniel has to do in this, more flashbacks to the movie and everything. That was fun, getting to see Pat Morita again. Um, but yeah, I think that this could very much completely live up to all the hype I've heard about it, and hopefully it does. So yeah, it will be added to the list. I don't know when I'll get to it, but it will come sometime down the line for sure. Whenever I can get an opening that I don't already have something planned for, basically. We'll see. But in the meantime, tell me in the comments below, what do you think of the first episode of Cobra Kai? And as always, no spoilers. I do not want to be spoiled on any of this, on any bit of where it goes. But tell me your thoughts on this first episode. What did you think of where Johnny's life has gone and where you think his story might go? And what do you think of just the events that happened within this? Also, was that Ed Asner? Let me look here. I still got Netflix up, so let me see if I can find the cast here. It's literally like, okay, I'm gonna mute it and play it so I can see. I really want to check that real quick because that really did sound like Ed Asner. That was Ed Asner, yeah. Okay, just straight up. Okay, cool. I recognize the voice and I actually got it right this time. It was a pretty recognizable voice. I saw Up again recently too, so that probably helped. But yeah, that was Ed Asner. Cool. That's really fun. Um, and also really sad because of his passing and all. But I mean, he was great, and I wonder if he'll appear regularly in this or not, or if it's just a guest role for this episode. I don't know. Either way, tell me your thoughts again down in the comments below, but no spoilers. And for now, I'm Connie, and I'm signing off. See y'all next time.